Hello everybody. Today we're going to be working on color selection, fabric selection for the Trip for Two to Boston quilt. Now I have copies of the pattern right here. This is the older pattern cover for some of you that may have this, and this is a photo of the newer pattern cover. You see, the older one is done with batiks and the newer one has the bright colors. Now let's take a look at these actually and see what we are looking at. Okay, this is made with 15 different fabrics. The center is formed with 15 different fabrics. They're just fat quarters. And out of fat quarters you will get 2 quilts, then you add your borders. Now this first section over here, these first few rows, are batiks that are actually so dark you can't tell the color difference. They're purples, they're navy blues, they're kind of plum colors, but they all merge into a blur of color. The same here on this one. You see they have 4 different turquoises, which are lovely, but you can't tell the difference with them. So you end up with a wide band of color around the outside and a band of color on the inside. The second quilt is actually the mirror image of the first. So here is actually a row of navy blue. That's their first fabric. That's number 1 fabric, is navy blue. And then they put the same fabric next to it as a border. You see the navy blue in the center on the mirror image quilt. You can see how it is right there. Then it goes right into the turquoises and ends up with this light blue, which you really lose. I don't know why they put that blue border on there. It just, the whole edge disappears. I wouldn't do that personally. But you'll end up with a wave, a wide wave of color, then some lights, and then a wave of color, the dark color on the inside again. So these two are essentially the same setup. Wide band, 4 or 5 darks blending into the lights and back into the darks again. And this is the look you get. It's very, overall, very strong, one color with one band of fabric. That's how the pattern is written. So let's see what we're going to do with that. So over here, I have created, right here, a group of colors, fabrics, that are mimicking the selection that they've asked you to get, that they request and suggest. I have some darker fabrics on the outside, similar colors throughout. So here's, this one is my lovely purple with the green, and this is a fun one that picks up all the same colors. It's guitars, musical instruments, and things like that. And it still has the same purple and the same greens, but it's adding the cherries and the reds and some of these other colors that I like. So I'm starting with 3 stronger colors and then blending from there into something soft and kind of fun with the little patterns that are in there, and then back again blending into something dark. Now, unlike a bargello, many of you may have made that, but a bargello, or maybe even a trip around the world, the colors on either end are stitched around in a ring. So this one will touch this one, and you start another blend. That's not what happens in this pattern. In the Boston Common quilt, you will be sewing these into a strip set and cutting the strip set, which will then be set on diagonal, kind of offset, like you can see in the pattern here. The strips are set diagonally, but they're always in the same position. Your fabrics are always on the end and the same. This will always be in each one of these rows. Fabric 1, fabric 15, fabric 1, fabric 15, always on each one of these rows, and then the opposite will be the reverse, going from 15 to 1 on the other side. These don't have to touch each other. They will create the edges of the quilt, the outer edge, the inner edge. And on quilt number 2, this is the outer edge and that's the inner edge. And I have a smooth blend of fun fabrics picking up the same colors but creating a soft little blend like they have. It's just, you know, a little more interesting blend here because I've taken my lights a little closer to the edge. So now I'll end up with this arrangement, I'll end up with a wider band of lights. So I did what I have to do. Once you do this, you always, always, always take a photograph with your phone and print it out because you know you'll drop this at some point and you'll need the reference. Once I looked at this, I decided, okay, let's see what we can, if we can jazz this up a little more. So I took the same 15 fabrics and rearranged them. Outer border, inner border, outer border, inner border on the other quilt. Now my pop of color is in the middle, and this arrangement is going to give me a dip of light, and then it will come up to something strong, and then a wider dip of light back to something strong again. So in this case, instead of the one band of lights, I'll now have two bands. One closer to the edge, one closer into the inside, but my center will still be strong. My outside will still be strong, but there'll be a little more interest right in around here. So why did I choose these fabrics? Well, I started with this one, my musical instruments, and this, because I love both of them. And I went from there and just started pulling fat quarters or whatever I had from my stash. You do not have to use fat quarters. So I had some fabrics from a Jen Kingwell collection that were looking for the right home, and I think this is a place for them. We had some fun that these pick up that funny apple limey green color, but they also had the purples and the blues, so this was great next to this one. This one is pulling the purples again from there, has that light green, and it merges with this one very nicely, especially if you squint your eyes or take a photograph. You can really see how things blend. Here I'm going in a different direction. I want to take this up into the cherry eventually, but I just chose this one. It has a little bit of the same apple green in it, but it's got these little black dots in it that are fun. I love this fabric. And then that just, again, the circles, pick up the circles. Now we got the same colors in both of these, so this one went in well, and ended up with that pin dot, which gives me the same. There's a red pin dot here and the cherry pin dot here. I almost never use the same fabric, but I think in this quilt it's going to work. Even though they're slightly different colors, I don't have to worry about them being next to each other. These will each be an outer edge. And going this direction again, purple and green. Here I'm pulling out the circular patterns. No, there's no purple in here, but that's fine. That's fine with this one. It's dots. Here's our pink with our grays, so that's going to merge. The grays, two grays are going to merge together, and then I'm back to my little circular patterns. Here's our red, a bolder red, and the pin dot. These colors don't have to work exactly together. Remember, these are going to be cut up very small. They're going to end up finishing as 1.5 inch squares. So in each one of these squares, that color blend is going to be different. Same in each of these. They're going to be different, and it will all blend together, small little pieces, and what you'll see, the strength will be in this piece, because no matter what you cut, it's going to be the same. And in these pieces on the end, these will be our bolds, here, here. And everything else is just fun. If you're not sure how it's going to work, take a photograph. And you can, even if you want, take 2 photographs, slice one up and offset each piece to see what it will look like. Because these will be smaller scale, you'll be able to see it better. Okay, so I'm going to go with this group of fabrics right here. I think that's going to be fun. Okay, so we're going to come back and show how to cut the fabrics and iron the strip sets.